Saaghe Fogwe podcast. Elevate your life, empowering insights for growth, success, and fulfillment.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Saaghe Fogwe podcast. I'm glad you're here. If you're just joining us, feel free to start liking the video and, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe, share. Today will be a very, very special session. Every session is special in its own unique way. But today I'm super excited because I have someone in the studio who is very busy and he's able to find time to sit down and have a conversation with us. So it's a big deal for me. So I'll delve into it. The topic today is the changing educational landscape. So it's a mouthful, but we will unpack this today. So I want to welcome to the studio Pst Dr Richard Ferim. Thank you, sir, for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Yeah, thank you for coming, and we'll unpack this conversation today. So before we go into, I don't want to introduce you. I want you to introduce yourself to the audience and the viewers. So just give us some background on who Dr. Ferim is.
Well, I go mostly by Pastor Ferim.
Pastor,
That's what
yeah.
many people know me for. And I'm based in Arlington, Texas, married with 3 kids. And I'm fully into ministry, church planting, and also running a church, and some outreaches, mission work. And I also work full time. So
wow, busy man. No,
yes.
no doubt. We had to pencil this in.
Yes, so I'm deep into data science, data modeling, working with banks and corporations like that. That's my passion also.
So background, where are you from? For those who, we have a diverse audience. So where are you from?
Well, I'm originally from Cameroon.
Okay.
And I know there are different regions, but I grew up in Southwest, though I'm from the Northwest of Cameroon. I was born in the Southwest, raised in the Southwest. I have my permanent residency in the Southwest in Boya, and that's all I know.
So you need a visa to go to the Northwest.
I need a visa. Yeah, so that's really my background. I went to school in Cameroon from elementary all the way to high school, then university, got my bachelor's, and then came here for further education.
Okay. And today we're talking about education. So no doubt you're very vested into education. So give me an insight. What pushed you into the education segment? Like, how did all of that get started? Why didn't you go into just straight trade? But you're one of those who you have climbed the ladder. You've gone through every stage of the traditional education. Give us some background.
Yes, I think I want to jump into that. I have a few people who were waiting for me to send them the link. I'm not sure if we have it ready. Maybe I could do that in a minute.
Yes, we can share it.
I jump out and continue because I've been waiting. They told me send it
right
before.
away. They don't want the show to go on. They don't want to miss a minute. I like that.
So if the producer sends it to me, I will just do a quick send over so that
let me do that.
We can get them. I think they're waiting. Some are outside the country.
Oh, wow.
So they want to be a part of the live streaming. Okay.
Hang on, yeah, guys, if you're joining us, just start sharing the link because this will be a very, very important session and it'll be very interesting. So you don't want to miss it. I think I turned something. I hit something here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's taking a minute to load.
Okay.
Technology,
Yeah, I just need the link. If I have it, I just...
Yeah, it's not even... Yeah, it's kind of spinning on me.
Okay.
What did I do? Okay, I hit something that says I'm incognito right now.
He can send it if he has it. I'll just do it from his side.
Yeah, because it's okay. I think I'm back on. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay, I think I'm back on. Share. Copy. Yeah, guys. So we're going to be talking about education today. So have your pens, your notebooks ready. We'll be schooled by Pastor Ferim today.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. And then yeah,
Okay,
so I'll
thank you.
share while we're at it. I'll
Okay.
also share
I got
to a
it.
few people. If you do have questions, put them in the comments. We'll try to, to get to those as best as we can. Yeah, and we'll get through those and answer questions. If you have things that are burning as the conversation is going on, feel free to drop it in the comment section, and we'll get to them. If we don't get to them, we'll respond to them later as well. So just feel free to drop those in the comment section. Yeah. Okay. Few more shares and then we should be good to go. And those who are joining us for the first time, make sure you're subscribing, because we're noticing that we have viewers. We have a lot of viewers, but then we don't see them subscribing. So when you subscribe, you're able to get the video right away when we start any session. All right. Okay.
Good.
All right. So we were talking about your background, like what pushed you into education? Why didn't you go to like a vocational school? You went through formal education, like traditional education. So give us some background on that. Why that
Well, I
route?
think the interesting part is the way some of us grew up. I cannot really take this away from what I have become, because back in Cameroon, as you well know, there's a formal way of going to school. You finish and you go to elementary, then you go to secondary, high, and then university. There was one thing that was so key to me: this announcing of results over the radio. I know so many people, they have problems with that. Some people are now saying a privacy issue about students' records should not be displayed publicly, but it was a big motivation
for people to do well.
Okay. You don't want to be at the tail end. You don't want to do badly. I mean, you have to study to make sure that you are at the top. And there was something also that was very motivating, because one of my cousins was ahead, way ahead. And this guy, when he was in secondary school, we were listening, we were waiting. He was like the only one that we knew. And then the results came out, and he made 9 papers.
Oh, okay.
9 papers at the ordinary level. Then A levels also, he made 4 papers. And we had not even started. We were still in elementary school. And that was like, this is our hero. This is good. And then he got a scholarship and went to Britain.
Oh, wow.
So it was just like a role model for us, though he was a young man, challenging us to also be able to pick up and follow in his footsteps.
So it's just that the path that was already set for us. You see your older ones go through that, because I remember boarding school. My older sister went. I was the second of 5. I'm the second of 5. So she went to boarding school. So there's no other way. You were thinking, you had to go through that path.
Exactly. That's what you call a model.
Yes. It's already set.
Yes. You modeled the way for all of us, and it was quite impressive that we followed in the same way.
So we grew up that way. But there's still people, even though we grew up going through that path, there's still people back home, from Cameroon, he did not follow that path.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts when you think about traditional education and then the I don't know if I should say non-traditional or more like, okay, so like the technical route and then the traditional formal education.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts about those two paths?
Yes, let me put it
Yeah.
this way. I think in the past, the non-formal or the technical path was looked down on a lot. And if you were going to a technical school, is because simply you were not
dumb.
that smart.
Yeah, they thought you were dumb.
so that is beginning to change.
Yeah.
I went back to Cameroon after my last visit was 12 years ago, but last year I went back and I saw some very smart people. I was asking them, what school are you going to? They said technical. I said, wow. I was shocked. So there's quite a big difference coming up. Even my sister is doing a technical school, secondary and high. She started one. But in the past, if you were smart enough, then you go to the regular formal
grammar
of
school,
education,
whatever. Yeah.
Yes, but it's beginning to change.
Yeah.
But also, I think that when it comes to this country, there are also two parts of education, which is finishing high school, going to university, getting a degree, and then graduating, finishing and getting a job, maybe going into higher education, graduate school also. So many people want to do that. And also there are other programs, certifications, shorter programs. I think we'll be able to talk more about those.
And we need to delve into that too, because that's kind of a good segue into it, because we have people who come to the diaspora from Africa, because we're Africans, so we have to, most of our audience, we'll have a lot of people who are from other countries, not necessarily Cameroon, other countries, but they come here. Not everybody can afford going through that whole traditional path of first of all, you're coming here. I came here at age 20, so obviously the elementary school was out of the question. I had already started a vocational school in Cameroon. I had gone to ENS Bambili to be a teacher.
Wow.
But I came here, transferred credits, and then I had to go back to I saved some years to go to university. Some people come, and I still racked up student loans.
Wow.
A lot of student loans. I don't even want to say the number because it's crazy. That's the one nightmare that I have, right? Yeah. But there are some people who come here and they cannot afford to get student loans. They want the shortest route. They want to get to a vocation faster, and they have to do a certification. What are your thoughts with somebody who comes in following the traditional path? They can afford it, and then somebody who goes for a certification? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think currently it seems to be like the norm. Most people will come back in their minds. They want to get a job ASAP. It didn't used to be that way before. Some of us, when we came here, we got a small job somewhere and we were going to school. And the goal was not to make money quickly. We were just there to study and then follow that traditional path and be able to get something doing. So, but those short programs are good. They have their downsides. They have their good sides. And probably we want to talk on those also.
Let's unpack that.
Yes,
let's unpack that. So what are the pros of having a certification program, or doing a certification program?
Yes, in this country, what you know is what is really important. When you go to a company, they want you to add value to that company. It's not back like in Africa where, I have this degree, I have this master's, PhD, then you sit as a boss under a company and you control things. But performance is extremely important in most companies. I've worked for maybe about 5, 6 big companies. The moment you step feet in that place, they want you to start performing from day one.
Hit the ground running.
They want you to bring money into the company. Now, if you are not productive, they'll fire you.
Yeah.
if you are not adding value to the company, you can be fired. So some of us that do a lot of technical things from the very first day, when my very first job, I was working with Bank of America, and they told me, oh, take this data here, give us some summary on this, do this and that. And just to pull that data, I had to write a program. So that very first day, if you cannot perform, you'll be fired. You'll be discovered. You cannot just sit down there and not be able to know what you're doing.
So proficiency, you have to be proficient.
So getting those skill sets under your belt, they are very important for some of these programs. Now, let me say there's a difference between the short programs and traditional education. Because the short programs, you go specifically to what the company needs. The traditional program, you take all of those different courses, history, government, computer science, and psychology, and you are well-formed and well-grounded. But in these other shorter programs, you just have 2-3 months of doing just what is needed by the company. So that there is the difference between the two, because those shorter programs, you just go specific. The other one, you can do some of this, of the other ones.
But you need prerequisites.
You need prerequisites. You are more rounded, more grounded. And sometimes you might not be as gifted, as talented as the other person who just went to the shorter route. But you have, a little bit of everything.
So like those of us in the medical field, we have no choice. There's no way you can go straight to just straight nursing classes. You have to do all of, like you said, the government, the history, and all of that to get there. You don't have that choice of just going straight to your core classes. And if no matter what your background is, like I came from the world of business, accounting. I did accounting for 10 years, then switched over to the nursing. But I had to do the prereqs again, do all those prereqs, because I was never a science student. Never. Coming from the arts and then to the sciences, and you have to do all of that. So
the advantage of the shorter programs is that they are not as expensive. You can take a program there are some that are, do you know that even programs for $75?
Oh, wow.
That you can do from India. Sometimes you can just go on YouTube.
The whole program?
Yes, the whole program, $75. You have AWS, DevOps, and all of those, $75. If you need the link, let me know. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
You can do that real quick, and then maybe 45 days they train you. It might not be the best of trainings, but at least they help you get into the door, and it's less expensive. I know many places around the US, Canada will probably do those for about $3,000, $4,000.
Which is still cheaper than the hundreds of thousands of student loans.
Yes, exactly.
So the cost is one pro for the certification.
That's one good thing about it. So another thing again is when it comes to these programs, let me say the market quickly changes. And maybe that is a con.
That's a con. It is a con. Yeah, because you go into it and then market changes.
Yes, the market changes. You have, when I talk about market, there are basically two things I'm talking about. I'm talking about the employment market, number one. Now, if you are going to do a Scrum course, for example, that takes you 2 weeks. Do you know that it is so easy for that market to be overflooded?
Yeah.
Because everybody from the streets can just come in.
Or everybody in that class, that your class that you're in, they're looking at that same job that you're looking at. Yeah.
So people just come and they do that 2 weeks, and very soon you see one position. There are 500 people applying for that one position. Why? Is because the training is so short, it's very limited. Everybody can come in and do it, whether you have a degree or not. So sometimes you can do this and you find a position in the company, in a particular company, and you feel like, oh, I'm secured now.
Yeah.
But very soon, when your salary begins to get higher and higher, the company becomes concerned They fire you and they hire somebody that they can pay less.
Who will take a lower
Yes.
salary? Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
the con of some of these positions, that the market gets easily flooded. And when you look at things like becoming a doctor, there will never be a need for a doctor to be scrambling to get a job.
It
Why?
could be sometimes. It depends.
Well, the reason why is because all of that time that it takes you from going to university, getting the training, then doing all of the clinicals, finishing the rotations, and so on. So many people are not ready to do that.
Yeah,
because then at the end,
lot.
when you are all done, there's just a few of you, but there's a big demand out there.
Yeah, true.
So it's kind of, if you are doing something, you need to have this at the back of your mind. I know they're going to pay you a wonderful salary, but at the end of the day, you need to start thinking that what will happen to this market that I am entering into. Why? After you've got in, why not go out there, get some other things under your belt, get a more rounded education, and just help you to stabilize.
And also, I mean, that brings, because I wear many hats. So my other hat is finances, right? As a financial professional, what I think of is how, when you have that job that pays very well, you have to already start thinking about where you're putting your money.
Yes.
You have to put it in the right place. You don't want to, because we have the tendency of, once we make that much money, our demands increase, our expenses increase. We want to buy the biggest house, we want to buy the biggest car, the best, be the most well-dressed. But you're doing it without putting something aside, because if that you've done that certification, you have that that contract, because most of the time it's contracts, right?
Exactly.
If that contract goes away, what next? So we want to make sure. So I just wanted to interject with that, because we have to think about
diversify your investments. Some of us, even though we've gone to school for so long, have been laid off once. I mean, we had too many people doing the same thing, and they say, hey, we need to cut off. They gave us the severance, took it, got back home. And I was wondering, what am I going to do now?
At least you got a severance. I got laid off in March, and I'm in the medical field, and I walked away with nothing. I found out on a Wednesday that Friday was my last day.
Oh my goodness!
So think about it. You don't have nothing, nothing as a backup. What do you do?
Wow, that's amazing. No, I got a severance. And the funny part is, after I said, let me take some time off, spend some time off. 3 months after, I applied back to the same company that took me back.
That's amazing. So that's where the skills come in, right? When you're confident in your skills, you have them, you can back it up, because a lot of times, we need to be able to back up the paperwork with our handwork, and so that that's a pro right there. So then
let me come back again to those shorter programs. Because the thing is, when you're working in a company, there's really this challenge of, how do you scale up? How do you stop, not just from being a computer geek to rising up in ranks? Those things are important. You don't just want to be punching numbers. You don't just want to be a tech guy.
The nerd in
the
basement.
Yes. But if all you have is just a certification, it will be hard for you to be promoted. They'll just say, oh, let's keep him there. That's our guy. He will take care of the technical, the IT, and whatever. So you want that rounded education where you can even be promoted to the level of becoming a manager, a director.
Executive.
You can
that's if you're interested in that, right? Yeah.
And that's where the big bonus is. Those that are down there, they get relatively nothing, maybe just a percentage of their salary. But the higher you go up in the company, then you have bigger bonuses.
And it's more secure too, in a way, even though if your dad's name is not on the building, right? Or your name, because even your dad can fire you.
Oh, sure.
So if your name is not on the building, even as a top executive, but then you're just saying that, the additional accolades will help put you in a position where you can make decisions. You're at the board table, making, not just being fed information on what to do or directives, you're actually on the table,
On the table.
yeah,
So,
making
so
decisions.
again, added to
Yeah.
that, the way technology changes. This is something that you don't know about me. But when I came to this country over about 20 years ago, technology was booming. It was big. I mean, Cisco in the 2000s, people were making $100 an hour. That's 20 years ago.
Yeah, wow.
So I actually went in, I got my Cisco certification, CCNA, I did CCNP.
Wow.
The highest level is CCIE, which
Wow.
is interconnecting expert. But by the time I finished, the market burst.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there were no jobs, technology was going down.
Wow.
And then I had to go back to school and continue with my graduate school.
Yeah.
But what I'm basically saying is that there's a lot of changes when it comes to technology.
Yeah.
Something can be very hot today.
Mm-hmm.
Then somebody comes up with a new technology that beats this other one.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody is moving to that new one.
Mm-hmm.
They're jumping into the other one. You are in
You're
this
still
other
here.
boat.
Mm-hmm.
Then everything is going down. Then now you need to get some additional skill sets. So we cannot be comfortable in just one skill set if you are doing the shorter programs.
But then let me ask you, doesn't that mean that people will be in school forever? Some
Well,
people will be in school. I mean, they'll be professional students.
Yes. So the thing is, if you have a short program, you have your certification, get a degree to back that up.
Okay.
If something bad happens, you can jump to something else. Maybe you can go and teach in a school for the time being, and you have at least something under your belt, something coming in. But when it comes to certifications, I know most of them, they have renewal periods. Every 2 years, every 3 years, something new is coming, 4 years, and so on. Way back, when jobs became scarce, most companies wanted you to have several certifications. So they wanted one person to be able to do maybe
multiple things,
database, Linux, all of those things. They were just merging them as things were getting more difficult. So they were cutting staff and putting the job on one person.
But now I think don't most people do specialize in something right now? Like if you're hardware, you do hardware, because I'm not very tech savvy, but I think a little bit. But I know that if you're a programmer, you do programming, you have to be, a programmer. If you're a project manager, you do project management, or like things like that.
There are certain skill sets that can be combined. There are some that are totally out.
Okay.
So the ones that can be combined is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Where somebody who is doing like some kind of administration over some networks, they might want you to just add Scrum on it also and manage some other projects.
Yeah. Okay.
So that there are things which in the future, if you think about your longevity in a company, you should be thinking along those lines.
Okay. So people who are able to they're not able to follow the traditional path, you're saying that certifications make sense to people like that, and also for the advantages that we just talked about, right? The pros that we talked about. And then those who are able and willing to follow the traditional path, take us through that cycle. And then also, because some people get scholarships, so there are people who I know who graduate. When I'm talking about student loans, they have no clue what I'm talking about, because they don't owe anybody.
They're blessed.
Yes, they don't owe anybody, but I'm here like I have nightmares and headaches from from owing the US government. So take us through that life cycle and what, the pros of, you kind of talked about some of the pros, just to take us through that.
Yes, the traditional path is a very patient path. You finish from high school and then you want to start off with a degree, and then you choose a university and you start off there. And most of the times in your mind, it's a long-term thing. Do you know that after I came to this country, I'd already had a bachelor's in mathematics.
Oh, wow.
I went to UTA and I spent 7 years in graduate school. to get a master's and then a PhD.
So this was a joint program, master's.
Well, I finished the master's.
Okay, and then
then
continued.
I
Wow.
continued. So, I mean, in this day and age, many people will look at that as something that's crazy. I just need
just the math part of it. It's already because math. My secondary school teacher told me already that I was not cut out for math. So for me to come back and do math in the US and pass and have an A.
No, for me, it was really fun because some of us, we have challenges, just reading and reading and reading. It's better for us to see numbers and play with them. It's much more exciting.
Try to find X. Where is X? What is X? 2X.
Yeah, so I some of us, we have the grace, if I want to call it that way, to be able to just spend more time with numbers. And then be able to it helps me to focus more when I see more numbers than letters. So that's the
not
good
a
part.
story, like
not a story.
not like
You're
in
just
literature.
reading the story.
Shakespeare was fun, Talk about.
I want to play with the numbers. Then at the end, you get to a certain place, and then you lock down the solution, and then you say QED.
Oh Lord.
So it's much more exciting that way. But what I was saying is that traditional path of spending quality time at school, learning, picking this other one. You are not just rushing to make money. That's what in the minds of many people is, let me make money now. And they are not well-formed. They are not all-rounded. They are not all-grounded. You just want to make money now. So many people need to be extremely patient when you are going through this traditional route where you are able to start off a degree program and finish it. And one of the things with companies, sometimes they'll ask you, do you have a degree? It's not just because they want to embarrass you. They want to make sure that you can start off something and finish.
And patience. You have
Be patient about it. That's how life is. That's how companies work. They give you a project and they want you to be extremely patient from start to finish.
And consistency.
Be consistent.
Because it takes consistency.
So many people don't have that training. It's training. It's extremely high training. It's not just sitting down and just doing a few things, which I'm not against.
And we're not, I want people to understand that we're not here saying that one way is better than the other. We're having a conversation here. This is really a conversation, just looking at different paths, because we are all different. We all have our own, situations. They're not the same. Our situations are not the same. So I don't want anybody listening to this or logging off mad at Pastor Richard. Be mad at Pastor Richard, not me. He'll pray for you, by the way, if you get mad at him. But we just want to look at different options, different things that people are doing, what is out there, because not everybody's path is the same.
You now imagine that after going to school for so long, even after I'd finished, I'd become so used to the system. Sometimes I'll study till 5 a.m. in the morning, and we used to have this professor who had his office next door to me. And I remember one night I was leaving the office at about 2:00, and the guy was coming after me. He was rushing. He had no shoes on. He called me. He stopped me. He said, "Are you making progress on your dissertation?" He was studying all night in his office, and I was like, "Professor, man, this guy is crazy." I don't want to be a part of this kind of craziness.
But think about back home when we were preparing for GCE, how we used to soak our feet in water to study, eating gari and peanuts to stay awake. We didn't know about coffee then. We didn't drink coffee. But you stayed up, to study. And I remember having withdrawal syndrome whenever I finish a degree program or one program. When I finished my nursing program and passed my boards, I almost said, like, what next? It was almost like some withdrawal, like, you need
only withdrawal. Let me tell you, when I finished my terminal degree, I sat at home one day and I didn't know. I went back to the office. It was not yet graduation time, so we still had some time. I went back to the office and just sat there. There was nothing to do. I'd gone to that office for years upon years.
So that's all you knew.
Back and forth, it was just in my mind.
Yeah.
And let me tell you that even up till today, I still have nightmares. Sometimes I get up, I say, wow, this, I had a dream about, my dissertation. I'm behind those things. And I've heard many people say the same story where
because you did it for years.
Yeah,
you did your program for years. So yeah, so kind of getting out of that topic, and let me stop.
Don't get out. Let me say something again about those traditional programs, because getting a bachelor's degree is something that many people can do and afford and just finish and go. But when it goes to master's, PhD, is a step up. Master's is a step up from bachelor's. You have to do a little bit of research, but the PhD level, you need to add value to whatever you are doing. And let me say, I think the question was on the traditional path.
Yes.
I don't know if I can talk on on master's, PhD, and things like
higher
that.
Education.
Higher education.
Yeah.
So it's not as straightforward as many people think, depending on the kind of school that you want to go to. Now, if you want a PhD in 1 year, we can give you that.
Oh yeah, I mean anything you want.
We have all of the places
There's a marketplace.
that you can just call somebody and say, hey, I need a PhD. They'll say, okay, do these few courses. And then they'll give you a PhD. So, but we are talking about accredited schools, schools that are renowned and that you go through that rigor.
Yeah.
The rigor of education. So like most of our programs, after you are done with the masters, you take some courses for the PhD, and then you need to do some qualifying exams.
Yeah.
Some schools don't do that, but the top schools, they'll have certain courses where you have to take exams on those. And if you are in masters, you can take those exams and at no consequence or no consequences. But if you are into the PhD already admitted and you take those courses and you cannot pass them, most schools for the second time, they just kick you off.
They'll kick you out of the program.
You are terminated.
Wow.
And those exams are hard. So those are qualifying exams. You have maybe 2 qualifying exams that you need to take, pass them, and then you start getting into the research phase for your dissertation. I'm telling you, those things are extremely tough. At the end of the day, after you have finished your dissertation, you add value to that particular subject matter, and then you can present now before a committee that has to ask you questions.
It's like you're in court.
Yes, and if they're not satisfied, you are knocked off.
And it takes just one person to say that, because I know I have an in-law who went through, he was doing aerospace engineering, and he at the end, because he did all the research, it was always one person who they need to sign, they need to put their signature on it, that they approve of your research. And if they're not satisfied, the question part also is so challenging. I remember mine, they put up there was a board there. And this was in math, or what was your PhD in math?
Mathematical sciences, statistics. So.
See his brain, this brain, I don't even know.
So there was that board there, and there were a bunch of professors and students and the public, anyone that wanted to come and challenge you.
Oh wow! So if you just had somebody who didn't like you in the dorm or whatever, or in the school, they could come and kick you out of that program.
So the thing again is, when you are picking your dissertation professors, you have to look around for the nice guys.
You have to be intentional.
You have to be intentional, because some people, they are just hard graders. They're just tough.
Wow.
So you need to be careful who you pick and bring into your team.
So if you're going in for a PhD or master's, you should really, because there are some people who just do a PhD or just because they want to be called doctor. for that
Yeah.
reason. So if you're really, so the school you're going to matters. From what I'm
Yes.
hearing you that you're saying, the school you go to matters.
Yeah.
It depends on what your goal is.
Yes.
Because if you're going in, if you're going to be a professor, you're going to be teaching people. You know, you
Exactly.
have to be well grounded.
Yes.
You have to have the right background, and then so the ranking of the school matters.
Yes.
So how important? Talk about
So,
rankings.
yes. So
yeah.
this is a very important topic, which it goes back to what I'm telling you about, where sometimes you are thinking, oh, let me just get a quick PhD.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you get a quick PhD in 1 year, maybe to some people, the shortest I've heard, maybe 2.5. And it depends on the field.
Yes.
And in most sciences, 4 years is an
It's a
average.
minimum.
Yeah, so it could be higher. And it's very important the school you graduate from. When you look at those rankings on US Newsweek, they're mostly there. You can Google them. If your school is number 300 on the ranking and you want to be a professor, it is extremely challenging, if not impossible,
to be hired,
for you to go teach in a school that is number 15 on the ranking. That's how challenging it is. Now, if you finish from top 20, Harvard, all of those MITs, you know, Southern California University, all of those places. When you finish, Austin also is among those top places. UT Austin, Rice, and so on. When you finish from those schools, most schools that are down on the ranking, they want you to come in and add value. They want to show that, oh, we have a professor who graduated from Harvard, from MIT. It's just easy for you to get a job when it's a teaching position or a lecturer, professorship position. It's so easy for you to do that. But when you finish from the lower rankings, you need to be extremely smart. You must have written a lot of papers in top journals before they can even consider you. Otherwise, they toss your stuff.
Because you have to have publications.
Yes.
You have to have publications out there.
And the thing again is with most schools, when it comes to those rankings, even in the business world, if you finish from the Harvards and from the MITs, when you are getting a job, some schools will even require their students who graduate not to take below a certain amount of salary because they just want to maintain that standard.
Yeah, standard.
So when you are looking for a job, you see people finish from Harvard, MIT, and they're making 140, 150, some from business schools. They're straight out of school, they're making a lot of money just because of the standard of that school.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but coming back again, how are these schools categorized? Is based on, that's what you call an R1 university, which is a research university.
Okay.
So when you are getting into those schools, you need to know where you are getting into. Don't just, when you're looking for a program, don't just say, oh, I found a university that took me into the PhD. I saw somebody who was rejoicing that, oh, I got into a PhD program and I said, let me just look up this school. He put down the name of the school. The school wasn't even accredited. It wasn't recognized by the body of education. So you are just wasting your time in a school like that.
You're giving money to a school that it won't back you up.
How do you use such a degree? Because accreditation, it means that this body of education, whether this one or this other one has recognized that school, you have passed the minimum requirements for a PhD granting institution. And anybody can give you a PhD. There are schools that,
I mean, we know, it happened in the nursing and all that. We had that scandal last year that came, was it this year, about schools that were not accredited. But with all this knowledge that you have, our community needs to know this. I'm glad that we're talking about this on my platform, but the Saaghe Fogwe platform is It's very small.
Yeah.
It's growing. It will grow. 30 days,
Yeah,
we're
it's
growing.
growing.
But our community needs to know this. So how are you giving this back to our community? How can people get this information? How can people know what to do? Like, the one person, if they hadn't spoken to you, they would have never found out that
Yeah.
the school is not credited, because there should be some kind of mentorship,
Yeah.
some way of getting kids in our community, the young ones who
Yeah.
are coming up, to know the right path, to know which
Exactly.
school to go to, because
Yes.
some of this information is new to me too. And I have one who's going off to
Oh,
college
yeah.
tomorrow.
Oh,
I'm dropping him, he's going to
really?
Baylor.
Oh,
so,
congrats.
so I'm taking him to Baylor tomorrow.
Wow, that's
So,
wonderful.
but I didn't do
Yes.
that much research. I just know
Yes.
that Baylor's a good school.
Yes.
And he picked it. He did his
Wow.
research.
Wow.
So if I didn't know, maybe Baylor is not even
Yes.
accredited, and I'm sending him there. So
Yeah.
how would I know that? How would parents like me know this information? How can you help the community?
Yes, I think a lot of research is necessary. Let me just say again about schools. When it comes to their research universities, you need to search that up. If this is a research university, research universities usually they want them to produce at least 20 PhDs in a year, bring in at least $5 million in research funds. Then there's a whole bunch of publications that professors need to do. So that's the research university. But teaching universities also, you have those. So those research are R1, they call them R1, they're top level.
Yeah.
When it comes, there's also R2, but when it comes to teaching universities is mostly based on publications, how they professors, how much they publish in top journals. So those are very important. But I think before you get into a school, it's good for you to do your research about especially the ranking of the school. And there are two types of rankings. There's the overall ranking of that school. It could be number one in the USA in everything combined. But there's also individual program rankings.
Okay.
So you need to look at both, you know.
Yeah, depending on the program you're going for,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
And for undergraduate, it's usually not too much of a big thing. You can get your degree somewhere, 4.0, anywhere, and just, you know.
But it's a graduate school.
When it gets to graduate, especially PhD, I'll beg you to take your time on that.
Yeah.
Do the research. Go to US Newsweek. They always have the yearly rankings. Go to Google, search those up, and finalize on that before you make a decision. It's very important.
Yeah. But again, questions. Okay. I can't read. So the top college is different from the lower rank.
So you'll be amazed that it will be almost the same thing.
The curriculum, really.
But the standards,
the
standards that the other schools have set, because you have top professors there. That's what is really important. Especially, the courses that you take are almost the same courses, but the guys behind those courses, the experience they have, the funding that they have. Somebody can have a grant of 5 million. Just one person. At UTA, my master's professor, he had grants. He had, I think there was one time he had a grant of $4 million.
And it makes it so much easier when you have a bigger grant. It makes it easier for you to run a department.
Yes, you can hire students.
Yeah.
You know, pay them their stipend,
work study,
and then they can focus on whatever you are doing. So it's just the guys behind. It's not really the curriculum. It's the professors, their experiences. They have studies, they have done research, they have vast
and contacts. So they have,
contacts and knowledge.
So
it's the people behind. It's not really what you
go
there.
So
because I mean, whatever. If you have a PhD in statistics at UTA, you go to Harvard, it will be almost the same thing, not much, but the guys behind.
Yeah. Okay. Good question. Thank you. Yeah.
It appears like people go to school for two reasons. One, to gain knowledge, and the other, to make money. What will you advise people, or which route? Or if someone walked up to you and say, "Hey, I know this is it, but then this is what I want. Let's say I want to go for money." What would you say to someone like that?
That's a very good question. It all depends on the particular individual. Are you there to make money? Are you there? Are you there to gain knowledge? Those are two very important things. Of course, when you gain knowledge, you'll be able to make money. And I think there are so many people. One of the reasons why I didn't go into academia is because I wanted more time to do ministry and other stuff. But at least I got my education. There are people who really want to make a difference in society through research. They want to come up with something innovative. I don't just want to get a certification and go to a company and work and make money, but I want to go and be able to look at this technology, be able to research it, be able to add value to it, be able to come up with patterns, be able to write papers, be able to get my name down on that particular field as an expert. It takes a lot of dedication
to do that.
So many people don't want that. They just want to.
And we can't, everybody can't be the same. Because even in church, you have different skills. So in our community, you have different skills too. You have people who have to do different things. Not everybody will be a researcher. Not everybody will be a doctor. Not everybody will be a pharmacist. Not everybody will do this. You know, we can't all do the same thing. We need that diversity to make sure there are people who want to go straight for the money. We need that because even in church, when we're passing the basket around, we need those big offerings.
Yeah, for sure.
We need those big offerings. So if everybody goes for the 8-year degree, the 10-year degree, we'll not get the church built. We'll not get those orphanages that we want to build. We won't get that. And then even schools, because I know you have a school, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so we need to talk about that too. Like, you know, because even in the church, you're encouraging people to focus on academia because you need those skills in the church, you know. So
at the end of the day, you know, some people look at what contribution they should have done at the end of their lives.
Yeah.
Is it that I just made money and then built a house and then took care of my family? But what will I be remembered for? That's why you see people sometimes they're pushing their names on papers and innovation and taking their time to contribute.
Your purpose.
Yeah, your purpose. You want to build companies and all of those. You don't just want to come here, have a nice car, and then when you are dead, you're all forgotten, nothing to your name.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes that mindset drives some people to say, hey, let me go into research. Let me go into academia. Let me write some papers. Let me leave something that will be towards my name.
Yeah.
And, you know, for the regular African, that there is a big challenge. I don't even want to open up this new chapter because it's something which most of us are still at the survival mode.
Yeah.
We just want to put food on the table, take care of our families. But these other people on this other side are doing research, innovations, and then they're adding value to their technology. How can we be able to ever catch up when we are fighting to eat?
Yeah.
And then somebody else is on the other spectrum. It's not about food. It's not about survival. It's about
making a difference,
adding value.
Yeah.
So they will always be at the top.
Yeah.
The Western world will always be at the top. So that's the big challenge.
So that's where the educating our community comes in, right? Yes. With everything in every aspect in you know, we the mentorship. I'm very big on mentorship. Where, you know, people who are just coming to the diaspora. That's why I asked that question earlier about somebody
and I didn't answer your question.
Somebody who comes, you know, who comes, because we have to mentor, you know, you pick a mentor. Mentors are very important. Whoever mentors you, it makes a difference as to what path you follow, right? So somebody might come, their situation is very different.
Yeah.
They don't come with straight with a green card, or they,
Mhm,
they come, they have to go through dealing with
Yes.
papers, or they come and the finances are tight.
Yes.
And so they're going straight for money
Yes.
because their circumstance
Yes.
doesn't permit them to go through the long
Yes.
patient path, right?
Yes.
So they go for money. Some people, after making the money, they still go back and do the education. They'll still
Not too many.
Not too many. I was being hopeful.
let me tell
Yes,
you
I was being
some
hopeful.
statistics
Yeah.
that you don't know.
Mhm.
Students who come here as F1 students, they have more accomplishments, more degrees than those who are here with a green card.
True.
Because these
True.
people, they come and their only goal is, let me
To go
finish
to school. Yeah. True.
And sometimes they'll pick a job there and they'll still work and clear their debts,
Mhm.
pay their loans. But this person who has a green card, I'm telling you, you know,
Who
There-
came? The green card came in the mail. You don't
Yes.
even know the struggles
Yes.
of going through. Yeah, guilty.
I have so many people like that you
Yeah.
know, they have that, and this semester, I don't feel like going to school.
Yeah, and take the
And then,
money, pay
yeah,
bills,
You
or
pay
do
your bills,
whatever.
you work, and then when you feel like you continue.
true.
But these other people with F1, they are so focused.
Because you don't want to lose your
You don't want to
status.
lose
You
your
have to go to
status.
school. If you don't go,
Yes.
you get
Yes.
sent back. If your status
Yeah.
doesn't change, that's very
Exactly.
true.
So
Yeah.
actually, when it comes to mentorship, last year I did a training for kids. There were about 70 kids all over the world,
Yeah.
some from Canada, US, Africa.
Yeah, I was hoping we'll get to this.
Yeah,
Yes,
so-
this is the exciting.
Yes, so but I started off something on Python programming, because Python programming is one of the hottest and biggest markets that is available now. Every other program, I am a SAS programmer. It's a statistical software, but Python can do statistical, it can do website, it can do programming. Places like Facebook are built on Python and all of those things. So I wanted to get the kids to get into things like this, start knowing them, start building those skill sets. And we had some of those kids that
Yeah.
joined. And I was hoping to
Yeah.
do it this year again,
Okay.
but I got so overwhelmed because it's a lot of dedication.
When was the last time you did this program?
That was summer of last year.
Okay, because I
Yes.
remember seeing something like that, but
Yes.
no, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot going on last year.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, because I think that's a very good. We need to do that for the kids
Exactly.
to bring, because we have to. The mentorship thing again is really a passion of mine. Like
Yes.
passing on a legacy.
Exactly.
Because if we're only depending on like those who are in their 20s, their
Yeah.
30s, they've already made up their mind
Yeah,
what they want to do. They
exactly.
might already go into something else, but starting from
Yes.
the root, because
Yes.
the young ones, in the 6, 8, that age group, I think that's a good program. So don't let it die.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
No pressure.
Next year for sure we will jump
Yes,
in.
no pressure.
The fun is, some of us, do you know I'm still going to school?
Are you serious,
Yeah,
Pastor?
I took a course. I took a course this semester on data science again. I just want to refresh myself because it's been long since I finished. Over 12, 13 years since I finished my PhD. So I just
That
took
withdrawal again, the
Yeah.
withdrawal syndrome. So I know
So-
we've talked for an hour, so we're gonna have to have Pastor
before I
back.
end
Yeah,
on
yeah.
this, before I end on this, let me say the data science, programming, those are exploding. And this can be a great equalizer between the Western world and, whether you call it third world or upcoming world,
Mhm.
this can be a great equalizer
Okay.
when it comes to technology, programming. Facebook, for
Yeah,
example,
yeah.
just think about Facebook, Google. That's the
Yeah.
new oil.
Yes.
It's not just drilling now.
Yeah.
All of these things, those companies, Apple, all of them, they
Mhm.
are multi-billion, if not trillion dollars company. If the upcoming world or the third world can master some of these skill sets, you see that they will come up also.
And we use it for good.
Use it for good.
Use it for good, because the thing is,
Yes.
technology is there, but
Yes.
then if we're
Exactly.
using it for
Yes.
the benefit
Yes.
of the community.
And let me
yes,
blow your
yes.
mind again.
Mhm.
Go to some of these websites that have jobs on data science, and then you'll be shocked.
Wow.
There are people making $1.2 million
Wow.
a year
Wow.
on just programming,
Yeah.
data science,
Yeah.
all of the Facebook, some of those other companies also that are out there, Apple.
Yeah.
Not only software programming, but you have just data analytics. They are making a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it should challenge our young people.
Yeah, we should get our kids in.
Yeah.
The kids need to do this. I don't mind being the marketing
Yeah.
person on the Saaghe Fogwe podcast. I'll do the marketing. So through here, I'll be glad to even bring some of the students here to to talk about it, their experiences with that. So
Wonderful.
guys, this was a very good it was a very good topic today. But Pastor, before we go, at least talk about the church, because
wonderful.
we cannot leave without talking about Metropolitan Church,
Christian
Christian Center, because I know I visited a couple of, it's been a while, I need to come visit again. But talk about the church, and how you also how this is helping, and then the community, how your center is helping the community.
Yeah, so basically, I think that there are a lot of things that have emanated from the church. We are a non-denominational church, so people of all different denominations are welcome to the church. It's non-denominational, means it's not affiliated to a particular major denomination. There's a Christian church. So we've been on in the city for about 10 years, and we've had many people come, many people go. As usual, that's how church life is. But we meet every Sunday at Doherty Lane Recreation Center, and we have a lot of professionals in the church.
Yeah.
I think maybe we have one of the largest population of doctors and
well, look at the pastor. The pastor is a professional student,
so we have a lot of professionals that come there. But the goal there is for us to encourage people in the Lord to know that the life does not only end here. What shall it profit a man if you shall gain the whole world and lose your soul? Making a commitment to serve Christ is the best decision that you can ever make. When you make that commitment, your past is forgiven, your future is guaranteed. When you die, you go to a safe place in the bosom of the Lord. So that's the message that we have. And another thing that we as the church, we've been doing all of these years is outreaches, giving back to the community. Some of the programs that we used to have were programs where we were helping students on their STAR test.
Okay, yeah, I remember that too. Yes,
to 8th grade. So we used to have a bunch of kids when we were at the other location before COVID. So we'll train them on math, we'll train them on taking their exams, and there was just a whole bunch of kids.
Very important.
It's important for us not to just stay in our individual corners, for us to come put together our talents, our resources, and do something meaningful in society. One of the things that has been so concerning of me is when I hear people talk about Africans and Cameroonians, and some of these people are Cameroonians. And when they want to talk about Cameroonians or they want to talk about Africans, they talk so badly about them. You don't want to associate with people that come from the same place as you. You feel like, oh, those people are bad people. What about you? So sometimes get together, bring in your own quota. There might be bad experiences from your associations. But most of the people that I've associated with, I come here to do some of my broadcasts. This guy is from Africa. The guy who does my taxes is from Africa. My lawyer is from Africa. I have a whole bunch of people that I just network with.
Yeah.
So I'm not scared of
Yes.
associating with our
Yeah,
people.
we need to highlight our skills, highlight
Yes.
the good in us.
Yeah.
Yes, there'll always be bad people, but
Yep.
we cannot spoil the whole pot of soup because
Exactly.
a few
Yes.
a few people are there. But I appreciate the fact that with all your education and all of that, Christ is still at the center,
Yeah.
because you could have wanted your name on these publications. You could
Yep.
want, to climb up the ranks in all these big
Yes.
organizations that you've worked for, and Christ would be the last thing that you're thinking about. So that
Yes.
really, that's humbling, to know that with all of that, you still on Sunday, you still come. I mean, it's not only
Every
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yes, every Sunday you're still there, but and your family, you see it in the kids, they're involved in church, and
Yes.
so that's a big deal. That's something that our community needs to
Yeah, that's the
emulate. Yeah,
best. That's the
yeah,
best decision
yeah,
I've ever made, and I'll stick to it.
yeah,
I do my best. If it means falling and rising, I'll fall and
yeah,
rise.
yeah, yeah,
But that's the best decision. And I encourage everyone that when
yeah,
you find Christ, you will find
yeah,
yourself. When you
yeah,
find Him, you will find your purpose
yeah.
and you know your reason for living.
Amen.
So it's
Yeah,
a passion in
yeah,
my heart.
yeah,
And I pray that there will be many more people who will be caught up with that call,
yeah.
because there's a call upon
Yes,
every life.
yes, yes.
But we
Amen
also
to
do
that.
things outside the country. I didn't have time to
To
talk
talk
about.
about in South Africa, right? In
Yes,
South Africa,
yes.
yeah,
So
yeah,
there's a school in
yeah,
South Africa
yeah.
that we initiated, and it's not easy doing things from far. But I think it's gone up now to fifth grade,
Okay.
all the way from not a kinder
Yeah.
to fifth, and we are
Wow.
hoping that it's going to really expand. And that,
Why not Cameroon? Why
oh
South
my
Africa?
goodness.
Loaded question, right?
Oh my goodness. I was trying to avoid that question.
No, you don't have to answer that, but we can share the link in the video. We can,
Yes.
you can share the link with me, and I'll share, if there's information on the school, we can
Yes.
share it, and
But
that way.
it's a
Yes,
very
yeah,
excellent question.
yeah.
I think where the opportunities
Yeah.
present themselves, we go there.
Yeah.
And I think that the mentality that we should have is a global
Yeah,
mentality.
it should be. Yeah.
where
And
we-
I've never been to South Africa, so that
Yes.
might be
Oh,
a
it's a
reason. I
wonderful
have
place.
friends that have friends who are in South Africa.
I know,
so
I know
wanna-
there are so many
yeah,
people
yeah.
who look just at the negatives,
Yeah.
maybe violence and so on.
I've always wanted to go, and I think
It's a wonderful
it's on
place.
my bucket list. That
Yeah.
and the Gambia,
Yes.
those two for now. Those are on the top, and Ghana. Those
Yes.
three are two.
So
on the top.
I think it's almost, when you look at it, it's almost like the US in terms of infrastructures.
Yeah.
It's a very organized place. The only
Okay.
problem they have is with the electricity.
Okay, so it goes in and out.
Load
just like,
shedding.
okay.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
They even had to appoint a minister of electricity
wow.
this
Wow.
year in
Wow.
March. So it's
So if
really,
the lights go out, that minister is in trouble.
Wow. It's all politics.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So but it's a
well,
good place. I
yeah.
think the opportunities presented themselves there.
Yeah,
We love
okay.
to do a lot of similar ventures around the world,
Yeah.
in Cameroon in
Yeah.
particular also.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's one country at a time. We
Yes.
just that continent needs. We need to make change. But yeah, like you said, global. We have to think
Yes.
globally, not
Yeah,
just
exactly.
where we come from. Yeah.
for sure.
So, well, I do want to thank you
Thank
for
you
being
so
here.
much.
I mean, it's an honor to have you,
Yes.
and I've learned so much today. And
Yeah.
hopefully, we'll have you back to talk more about
Yeah.
some of the activities and. Changes. Obviously, when you come back, there will be some
Yeah.
things that have changed. But I also want to thank everybody who's watching. I can see Pastor Christabel, his wife watching.
Okay.
Pastor's on,
Wonderful.
Mary, Kamara's on,
Yeah.
Gustav. Thank you guys for watching. Yolanda Ferim. So the whole Ferim family. I've never seen you guys watching the
Oh
Saaghe
my
Fogwe
goodness.
podcast. So I hope you've subscribed. You need to subscribe. And then I see Gwendolyn. Thank you all for watching. I'm sure some people are watching from from out of here. Rahim, wow, Rahim is on. Thank you guys so much for watching. Share the video. Share, subscribe to the Saaghe Fogwe podcast. We'll share links about the school in South Africa. If you have family in South Africa, they can get involved with that and other activities. when the summer program comes up, we'll share that information on this show as well, so that the
Wonderful.
kids can join and learn some stats. But thank you guys so much. So until next time, thank you for watching the Saaghe Fogwe podcast. Bye. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
God bless.
God bless.